Five friends headed into the remote Trinity Alps of Northern California for a fun camping trip to party. They were young, they were free, and they were looking for an escape, but only four of them would ever leave the woods. Lora Sinner wasn't killed by a stranger in the dark or a predator on the trail. She was methodically tortured and murdered by the very people she shared a campfire with. Did jealousy kill Laura, or just the cold hand of a psychopath lurking in the shadows of a seemingly innocent campsite? You're listening to Lurking in the Shadows. Hi.
Welcome back. I'm Kirsten.
And I'm Amber.
And this is Lurking in the Shadows.
Yeah. Did we already say that? We're your hosts.
Did I say that?
Yeah. Didn't
No. I don't think so.
No. Too many. We've said shadows. Take a shot every time we say shadow.
Yeah. Sorry, we changed our intro up and now it throws us off a little.
Yeah, I'm confuzzled. I hope you guys are too. We'll get it together. We're just normal people, just recording in our houses.
Yeah, let us know. Are you liking the new intro with a hook? Or do you prefer the old intro? Let us know.
Yes, because, I mean, hopefully it's flowing better. Let us know if that's what our goal was, is that maybe drawing you guys into the flow of what you're listening to.
Yeah.
But let us know if it's not doing what we think it is.
Yeah.
So what's new with you, Kirsten? I don't think we've chit-chatted in a hot minute.
I know. Not much, honestly.
No?
No. Just working and researching, and that's it.
I am the only one that has exciting things happening in life.
Yes.
Yes.
She sure did.
Yeah, I moved to Denver, Colorado, guys. Woo! Yeah, hell yeah. I'm enjoying it.
Sad thing is we're still very far apart, but
no. Distance never stopped us. So
No.
We weren't worried about 1,000 more miles.
No.
Kirsten will jump on a plane.
Yeah.
A fun fact, I had to fly with Kirsten on her first time ever flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of worked out that there was a layover there.
Yeah.
In Baltimore.
Yeah, now I live in a place where Denver, I can fly. That airport's huge. So
yeah, you'll probably just get direct flights everywhere.
Yeah.
For the most part.
In Myrtle Beach, guys, I know it's surprising, but it was a struggle because the airport's very small, if you didn't know. It's very small.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were there any direct flights?
Yeah, like Nashville. Like there was direct to Nashville from there, and where else for Southwest? A lot of southern places. Like they don't want to. Not a lot of people want to be flying up north for vacations, so you always get those direct flights down south. So yeah, so that's my life update. Hopefully we make it out here. It's the Wild West, you know.
Yeah.
Well, today we are talking about Lora Sinner, and you don't know anything about this one, right? I kind of picked this one out of the air, honestly.
I think I may have stumbled across it on part of the Park Predators podcast.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if it's the same case or not.
It could be. I mean, it's California, so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember where that one took place.
Yeah, so. Right. Lora Ann Sinners was born on October 25th, 1977 in Yakima, Washington. She was the youngest of three, with two older brothers, Ryan and Jason Sinner. Her mother died when Laura was 20 of leukemia, and her father's name was never made public, but they were both very active in Laura's life. She was raised in a Christian household that attended church and actively prayed together, like at the dinner table. Ryan is quoted describing his sister, quote, Laura as a young girl. She was fun, she was cute, she was always smiling, and she seemed happy, end quote.
Oh.
Yeah. Laura went to college, starting her freshman year, briefly before turning her main focus into volunteering and mission work with the church. She mostly worked in the Aberdeen, Washington area. This is where 20-year-old Laura met 21-year-old Timothy Smith. This would be Laura's first love, but by the end of summer 1997, they had broken up. Not long after the breakup is when the mother sadly passed away. Laura struggled for months grieving the loss of her mother until March of 1998.
That's sad. A breakup and losing your mom?
Yeah, I know. And I mean, you can't blame me. You can't predict these things, so it's not like we can
Mm-hmm.
sit here and blame Tim for breaking up with her, but
Right.
yeah. This is when she reached back out to Tim, and he invited Laura to come and live with him and his family in Redding, California.
Hmm.
Ryan is quoted saying, quote, she said they love each other, they're going to go down, meet his family, get married, and start a life together, end quote.
That quick? Wow.
Yep. But and also I wanted to say that as somebody who has experienced some loss and stuff, I sympathize with her having to just kind of get away. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know like you're sitting here think like that quickly. She's grieving her mother, and such a huge loss in her life.
I meant the marriage part.
Yeah, the marriage part.
Like
Yeah.
they were broken up and now they're just gonna get back together and get married.
Men talk false promises
Mm-hmm.
all the time. He probably buttered her up. Like, come on, we have family. They love you. We'll have a life together. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but like last time, Tim broke up with her shortly after her arriving.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I told you, buttered her up.
What a
Gave her full
bag.
promises. Yeah. Laura decided to stay and try and make it work in California, telling her dad that she had made some new friends and wanted to try and stay there. In Shasta County in Northern California, there was a beautiful area where a lot of people enjoyed outdoor activities like hunting, fishing, and camping. This small town, nestled in the Trinity Alps, was called Redding. And on April 18th, 1998, just after midnight, Shasta County sheriffs received a strange 911 call. The anonymous caller on the other end claimed he heard a rumor that there was a body buried at the Trinity Alps Reserve at Camp Spot 47. Although
Rumor.
thinking this phone call was odd, one of the homicide detectives assigned to this call was Stephen Berg. This area where the body was being reported is very remote and located about 22 miles from the police department. When they arrived at around 2 a.m. at the campsite, there was no one located there, no areas that looked freshly dug. A two-person tent was left behind, and some trash, including a whiskey bottle, socks, tons of beer cans, and there was also sleeping bags and items like that. It looked like people stayed there for an extended time and had abandoned the site. Since it was pitch black, the officers decided to head out and come back when there was more light. And they came back the next morning to search more thoroughly and discovered nothing new with the naked eye. But I always give props where props are due. These police officers brought out a cadaver dog to search this campsite.
Okay.
Heck yeah, yeah. When the dog sniffed around the campsite, it went right to the fire pit and sat down, indicating human remains had been in that fire pit.
Cadaver dogs are that's crazy.
They're so
You can
cool.
tell a dog to do that, you know?
He's like, there's a dead body here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even just like doggies that are actually like sworn in as police officers, like
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah. Cuties. Working hard. Working
Yeah.
9 to 5.
In their little uniform.
Oh, this is so cute.
I know.
And they're just like little murder missiles, though.
Yeah.
They'll kill you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The fire pit had obvious burned ashes in it, but also had partial burned wood, and piled on top was unburned branches. As they slowly made their way through the debris and ash, they were able to uncover a hand and foot. This
Mm.
led to the discovery of the body of 20-year-old Laura Sinner. They at first had no clue who this naked young woman was, but they could see her body was full of contusions and lacerations. They observed marks on her wrist. There was a black garbage bag tied around her neck. Stephen is quoted describing her body looking like it was hit by a car.
Oh my.
Yeah. It was also easy to see her skull was crushed. As they continue to sift through the items at the campsite, they find one of those big cans of baked beans. It was smashed in close to the middle of the can, and you could see the hair and tissue still on the side of it.
Oh wow. So she had a very violent death.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I go into 3 different retellings pretty much of it, but we
Oh
get the
gosh.
gist of it. The evidence at the scene was collected and the body was sent to the coroner's office. During the autopsy, it was found that Laura's blood alcohol level was 0.78.
Ooh.
0.08, guys, is the
That's
legal driving limit.
yeah.
0.78.
How I don't even know how many times the legal limit that is.
I can't math that.
That's almost that's almost 10 times the legal
Yeah,
limit.
that's almost 10 times the legal limit.
Yeah,
That's
that's
crazy.
hmm.
It was found her skull was crushed and her neck was broken in 3 places.
Oh my.
Any of these injuries could have caused her death, probably including that blood alcohol level. Let's be real here.
I was gonna say, like, could she have already been dead from that? And then I don't know.
Yeah,
And then that'd be overkill, though. But ooh.
this whole thing was overkill. There were numerous cuts showing signs of hesitation, and the wrist cuts were the only self-inflicted wound that they could not find, like what the story behind them were. Like they were the only self-inflicted ones, and it was unexplained as to why they were there, and they were fresh with everything else.
I was just gonna say, were they fresh?
Yes.
Like, why would she be cutting her own wrists while other people are beating her?
Yeah. We get some stories later.
Okay.
Yeah. It won't make any sense, but you know. Criminologist Michael Arntfield observed this violent murder as, quote, overkill, saying this type of violence is usually fueled by a sexual fetish or a personal hatred-fueled rage.
Yeah, I think someone definitely knew her.
Yeah. The medical examiner was able to get the dental records and was able to then identify the victim as Lora Sinner. Ryan Sinner, who again was Lora Sinner's brother, said in an interview about his dad he had been looking for Lora for a little over a week after not receiving phone calls back from his daughter.
Oh.
Yeah. The first person police begin looking into is Timothy, of course, but it was discovered after their breakup that they had minimal contact with her. They had broken up a few weeks before she went missing. He was also
Wasn't she living with him?
huh?
Wasn't she living with him?
No, and I probably should have put that first, but I go over her living situation and how
Oh, okay.
terrible it is once her and Timothy broke up.
Okay.
Um, he was also very devastated and shocked when he found out Laura was dead. It also came out during the interview with Tim that the living conditions with the family were not the best situation, to the point that CPS was involved with the family members living in the house.
What the
Tim
heck?
has 2 siblings, his sister Lori and his brother Paul. Paul Sr. is the father who decided he did not want Laura living in the house anymore. So Lori, Paul Jr., and Laura all moved in together. After learning all this info and Tim's mannerisms during the interview, he was wrote off as a suspect. But all the info he provided turned the police attention to Paul Smith Jr. Paul was a troublemaker and different from his brother. He was a leader and had an angry, manipulative side to him. When police started investigating Paul, they got a huge tip in the form of a phone call to the Shasta County Sheriff's Office. The man on the other end of the phone call claimed his foster daughter witnessed a murder up in the Trinity Alps Reserve. Her name was Amy. She was 14 years old, and she was removed from her foster home and then interviewed by police. It was found out she was in a relationship with Paul Jr.
And how old did you say Paul Jr. is?
I believe he was either 20 or 21.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
But
Both.
what do these people even see in a young teenager? They are so immature. What? I don't get the thought process, but you know.
I don't know. Yeah. Gross. Both Amy and Paul were in the system, and that's how they had met each other.
Mm.
While in a relationship with Paul, him, Lora, and Amy would hang out with another couple, including Lori, Paul's sister, and her boyfriend Eric. So it was two couples altogether that would usually hang out with Lora, and that would make Lora then the odd man out. Of course, once police brought Amy in, the 14-year-old is who they were able to get a lot of their information to like kick this investigation off. She tells them in mid-April, all five people, the two couples and Laura, head to Trinity Alps Wilderness Reserve to camp. After only a few days of partying and having a great time, they ran out of supplies. But they were having such a great time, they didn't want to go home. They wanted to stay. The group would use Laura's car to run to town to get more supplies each time they ran out. They were really just using her for her vehicle. These trips into town, using what money that they did have, soon turned into them robbing cars and businesses for supplies when the money did run out.
Yeah.
Laura was the only one who was against what they were doing. When asked by Paul if she was going to tell on them when they got back into town, she unfortunately answered yes. He was asking Laura this question while they sat around the fire at the campsite after committing some kind of theft that night. This is when Paul pulled out a dent puller and swung it like a baseball bat, and that's how Amy described what had happened that night. He struck Laura several times in the head. She then claimed he buried her in a ditch he dug in the fire pit, covered it in branches, and lit it on fire.
So
And
he
he
just
said,
randomly decided to start beating her.
because she said she's going to tell on them about the robbing and stuff.
Okay. So you'd rather go to prison for murder than robbery?
Yep. That's what Amy's saying. Yep. Detectives asked Amy why she never came forward about what she saw, and she said he threatened them that he would do the same if they told police. So now that they have Amy's confession, their first person they decided to interview was Lori, Paul's sister. She told police throughout the time at the campsite, the fun partying soon turned into him forcing everyone to smoke weed and drink and just do things they didn't want to do. Lori also was able to retell the same story Amy did about Paul killing Laura. The one difference was Lori said what started the attack was Laura flirting with Paul, grabbing his butt and kissing him on the cheek. Paul got pissed about this and started yelling at her. Remember, everyone is drugged up at this point, apparently. He just went crazy, yelling at Laura, calling her a little bitch, and telling her to shut up. This is when he started beating on her before grabbing the dent puller and beat her in the back of the head and her neck, her rib cage, and her back, according to Lori.
Oh my God.
Laura is still awake and screaming at this point. Lori said Paul was laughing while Laura screamed out, "Lori, help me! Lori, help me!" Lori said in the interview she couldn't or he would kill her. Paul then grabbed a razor and some rope with intentions to make it look like Laura killed herself. He put the rope around her neck and then tied her legs and arms up. Then his idea was to slice her wrist to add the suicide part. And at this point, Lori said he had also put a black garbage bag over Laura's head. Paul is quoted saying, quote, "God, this bitch is hard to kill," according to Lori.
How would the plastic bag over the head fit their suicide narrative?
Also, her arms and legs were tied up, and there's a noose around her neck, like, and then, like, wait, what?
Right. So did she tie herself up while her wrists are bleeding? Like,
Yeah, what? You gotta get your story straight here. You're
yeah,
just tying her up and then cutting her wrists, be like, oh, she killed herself, and then puts a plastic bag over her head.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's giving stupid.
yeah, fucking idiots. This is when Lori claims she tried to step in by yelling, quote, "Stop, she's had enough, leave her alone," end quote.
This reminds
Well,
me of the Colleen Slimmer case.
which one was that?
She was beat to death by Krista Pike and her boyfriend and
Oh,
another
yes, that one.
uh, another student. Hers was very brutal death as well,
Yeah, yes, tortured.
where no one intervened.
Yep, no one interviewed. Everybody just stood back and watched.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like,
Or
um,
participated.
or participated. I know, like, under pressure and stuff, but you participated, you know? Paul then took the dent puller and hit Laura a few more times on her neck. Lori said it was up to 20 times he struck her. She said you could just hear Laura's bones crush.
Oh no.
Yeah. Now Paul, enraged, yelled at Lori's boyfriend, Eric, who obviously did not want to get involved, but he was afraid of what could happen to him. He wanted Eric to start digging a hole in the fire pit. Eric had no interest in getting involved, but he was so afraid of Paul, he did what he said. Lori said tears ran down Eric's cheeks as he dug Laura's grave that night. They stripped Laura naked and buried her in the hole. Paul told everyone to forget everything they saw that night, or he would do the same to them.
Why does she need to be naked?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, because they're gonna identify her no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
No. The major problem with the girls' confessions is the major points of their story did not quite match up. Investigator Craig Carpenter said that the stories and the evidence collected didn't match, but they were eager at this point to talk to Eric and Paul and see what their stories are. Excuse me. Both boys at the time were in jail for car theft. So police decided to start with Eric Rubio. Of course, at first, Eric was afraid to confess to what happened because he didn't want to be locked up for a long time. No, should have thought of that, buddy. Yeah, I mean, you're locked up for car
Yeah.
theft too. I mean, where do
Mm-hmm.
you draw your line here, criminal?
Right. Yeah.
He went through a story similar to Lori's, but he said Amy was jealous of Laura flirting with Paul. He claimed Amy started it by running over and punching Laura right in the face for flirting with Paul. This
Yeah.
started a fight between the girls where Laura started overpowering Amy. I mean, she's 14 years old.
Right.
Eric claimed this is when Lori jumped in, hitting Laura while Amy went and got the can of kidney beans and started hitting, or baked beans, and started hitting Laura. But Amy was weak, and apparently she wasn't doing enough damage for Lori's liking, so she took the can and started beating Laura harder.
I was gonna say, so now this 14-year-old is joining in murder.
Yes. He said she hit her up to 8 times with the can in the back of the head. Eric said Laura was awake and screaming at this point. Amy went into a tent near her and grabbed a dent puller and started beating Laura in her neck area and the back of her head. Paul got mad she wasn't hitting her hard enough again, so he took the dent puller himself and started hitting her with it. Eric said he then got the rope and made a noose and handed it to Paul, where he tied up Laura. He then got the razor blade, and Eric said Paul screamed, "Do you want me to slit your wrists, or are you going to do it?" Laura answered, saying, quote, "I'll do it." But
So
when
there's at least 5 people
there's Eric,
involved in this.
well, counting Laura, yeah, there's 5.
So where's her ex-boyfriend at?
Tim is like out of her life. That's why he wasn't a suspect. Paul is Tim's brother.
Because wasn't she living with them though? Like when they
She's living
moved
with,
out of the house?
yeah, but she wasn't living with Tim. She's living with Paul.
Oh, so Tim stayed behind.
Tim's still living with parents. It was
Okay.
Paul, Lori, the sister, and Laura all moved in together. And then Lori has the boyfriend Eric, and Paul
Mm-hmm.
has the girlfriend Amy.
Amy, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure where Tim was in all this.
That's why he's innocent, and they wrote him off as a suspect, is because he wasn't involved.
Okay.
Other than, unfortunately, I guess introducing Laura to Paul.
Yeah, I mean, maybe too bad he wasn't there. Maybe he would have intervened. I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, as the brother, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
When she went to go cut her own wrists, she wasn't doing it deep enough for Paul, so he took the blades and made the cuts deeper.
Oh, God.
Paul then forced Laura to chug an entire bottle of alcohol. Eric stated she was just laying there getting drunker and drunker, and this explains the extremely high blood alcohol level.
So she's chugging alcohol while bleeding and
Tied
being
up.
hit in the head and neck.
Yep. And I think there's a noose around her neck at this point.
How is she even swallowing okay with all these broken bones in her neck and head trauma?
Well, at this point, because this is Eric retelling, so this is, I know
Mm-hmm.
it's confusing because this is like how many times we've reheard this story. He did not quite strike her in the neck yet, breaking her
Okay.
neck. At this point, she had been hit with the dent puller in the head mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not that anything is any better, but her neck is not broken yet at this point.
Okay.
So since Laura wasn't dying, Paul took the dent puller and struck Laura a few more times, breaking her neck. He then tied a black trash bag around her neck, and they all sat and watched her suffocate to death.
Oh my God.
Paul then told Eric to help him bury her, and when he declined, Paul said, "If you don't fucking help me, I'm going to kill you too."
I hope these people all get the death penalty.
I'll go over their sentences then. Eric helped Paul because he was afraid of him. With everyone's statement, police believe this torture of Laura happened over the course of 3 hours.
That was like Colleen. Hers happened over, I think, an hour.
Yeah, 3 hours of just probably partying, watching her lay there.
Yeah, there's no excuse in that. I don't care how afraid you claim you were of this guy. You're in the woods. You literally could have ran away and hid somewhere.
Yeah. And take Laura's car. I mean, go get help,
Mm-hmm.
you
Right.
know?
No excuse.
Um, so the police have mixed stories here, but I'll say, to me at this point, Eric's confession is the only one that had included like the kidney bean, um, the dent puller, and I don't know. His story to me seemed like the most reliable to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now it was time to bring in Paul Smith Jr. for questioning. Paul eventually, after hours, admitted to pretty much everything Eric said happened that day. He did try to spin a story like he was saving Amy from Laura beating on her, trying to come out like he's some hero.
Mm-hmm.
Paul said the reason he did it was because he was convinced Laura would go to police and tell on them, so collectively as a group they decided to kill her. He tried to claim he gave her the whiskey to make her more comfortable because he didn't want her to suffer.
Well, why'd you beat her to death?
Yeah. He's suffering
How do
because,
you not suffer through that?
yeah. So stupid. In the documentary I watched, police noted this kind of thinking being being a hero, making it like he was a good guy to the victim, is a telltale sign of a psychopath.
Yeah.
Police investigated Paul's job and got a dent puller from one of Paul's coworkers. This dent puller still had his fingerprints and hair and tissue from Laura left on it.
Oh, God.
Now that they had the murder weapon, police have also enough on everyone to charge all four in the murder of Lora Sinner. Lori Smith is sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. Eric got 18 years to life in prison. 14-year-old Amy got the maximum sentence for a juvenile in the state of California, so she would remain in the detention until she was 25 years old. In August of 2002, Paul Smith Jr. is sentenced to death row. However, in 2015, after the California Supreme Court determined Paul was denied the chance to call an expert witness to the stand during his trial, his guilty verdict would stand, but he is now sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Oh, come on.
I know. But I mean, California now doesn't uphold the...
Yeah, they don't have the penalty anyway.
Yeah, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but still stupid. Justice Carl A. Corrigan is quoted saying, quote, because we cannot say beyond a reasonable doubt that the penalty determination would have been the same had the jury heard from defendant expert. We must reverse the penalty judgment, end quote. This judge determined this after Smith already had an incident in prison where he beat up a guard, and the night before this hearing, he was caught trying to escape.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, good. He's just being a great person in prison, and we're changing his.
So all of this, and they're worried that he didn't have a witness.
Yeah, one
expert witness. Okay.
Yeah. Paul will live out the remainder of his sentence at San Quentin.
Well, I think that's a pretty tough prison, so good luck, buddy.
Yeah, stupid little bitch, little stupid ass hoe.
Yeah. All of them. They're all stupid assholes.
Yeah, all he is. But beating a woman to death?
And a 14-year-old being involved?
Yeah. Disgusting.
Like, I mean, yeah, you could say peer pressure and stuff got the best of her. You know, her frontal lobe isn't fully developed yet, but still.
Yeah.
You know you don't murder someone.
Yeah. Fucking bitch.
That's crazy.
That was crazy. Did you know any of that? Does it sound similar?
I think it was the same case, yeah.
Yeah, good. Well,
but it's horrific.
Yeah. I forget how I found the case, actually. I can't quite remember, but I just found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That poor girl.
I know. Just out camping, thinking like,
yeah.
Oh, look at my friends. Like I'm hanging out with my friends. She probably suspected nothing of it, and then she's dead.
I also wonder, like, when the dad of Paul and Tim kicked her out, or like, so they didn't want her there, why didn't they contact her parents and be like, come get your kid, she can't stay here?
I mean, I guess because she was telling her dad that she made these friends, meaning Paul and Lori, and she wanted to stay there and move and try and make it. She told her dad. Yeah.
Sad.
It is really sad. Make like a shadow and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at
Lurking in the Shadows Podcast.
You can no longer find us on TikTok anymore, but if you have any questions, concerns, or case suggestions, you can shoot us a Gmail
at Lurking in the Shadows Podcast at gmail.com, and keep lurking around for our next episode. Bye.